Alright, time to begin your review on your similarity proportions. First page is all proportions. All we're doing is cross multiplying and solving from there. Cross multiplying gives me 24x for that way, and 6 times 8 is 48. Divide both sides by 24 gives me x equals 2 as my answer. For number 2, I have a big long number here. I can cross multiply 58x pretty easily. For this side, I have to go and multiply 8, and I get 2584 for that. Divide both sides by 58, so x will equal, it comes as a decimal, 44.55. For number 3, I'm going to cross multiply. Here's the trick. I have to do 10 times the entire thing, x plus 4, and 14 times the entire thing, x plus 2. So this becomes 10x plus 40 when I distribute through, 14x plus 28 when I distribute through. Now I need to combine like terms. I'll bring my 10x over to this side, subtracting 10x from both sides will leave me a 4x. I'll bring the 28 from this side, so subtract 28 from both sides will leave me 12. That means that I will get x equals 3 for my answer there. For number 4, same thing. I need to multiply 20 times the entire thing of 2x minus 1, and 10 times the entire thing, x plus 7. So 20 times 2x is 40x. Also times the negative 1 gives me negative 20. And on the right side, I'll have 10x plus 70 when I distribute through. Subtract 10x from both sides to give me 30x. And then I'll add 20 to both sides to get me 90, which gives me an x equals 3 for that answer. Number 5, when I cross multiply, I get 3x. And I'll get, again, the whole thing, 2x. And I also need to do 2 times 6, which is 12. Subtract the 2x from both sides to give me with 1x is equal to 12 for my answer. And this one here, 5 times that whole thing, so 5x minus not 2, but 5 times 2, which is 10, and 4x plus 12. I'll subtract 4x from both sides, that'll leave me an x over here. X minus 10 equals 12, so now I'll add 10 to both sides to get x equals 22 for that one. Okay, 7 through 10, more of the same sort of thing. More proportions for you. This will be 5x minus 25 when I go this way, and going this way I get 21. I will add 25 to both sides, and that gives me 46 on the right-hand side. I'll divide both sides by 5. That means x will equal, if you leave it as 46 over 5, that's fine. That actually comes out evenly as 9.2 for a decimal. That would be fine as well. For number 8, 2 times the quantity x plus 1, so 2x minus 2 when I go that way. And over here I'll have 12 plus 4x for that answer. Okay, let's go by subtracting 2x first from both sides. Now leaving with negative 2 equals 12 plus 2x. Now I'll subtract 12 from both sides, so negative 14 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, x will equal negative 7. Yes, it is possible to get negative numbers when you do proportions. For this one, 10x plus 30 equals 5 times 14, which is 70. Subtract 30 from both sides, 10x will equal 40. Divide by 10, so x equals 4. And for number 10, I'll have 3x minus 3 when I distribute this way. And when I distribute the other way, it equals 10x plus 35. Let's start by bringing the 3x over to the right. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. I'm left with negative 3 equals 7x plus 35. I'll subtract 35 from each side, so negative 38 equals 7x. That means x equals, when I divide 38 over 7, which is as a decimal, it'll be negative 5.43. Again, if you leave it as a fraction, that's fine by me. So that's it for proportions. Now we move on to the word problems. And in all of these, we want to say how we want to set this up. So it costs $1,000 to run a 12-second ad. So this is dollars over seconds. So I need to do the same for the second one. So dollars over seconds, I know it's 57 seconds, so that should go on the bottom, which means x should go on my top. When I cross multiply those, that should give me 12x is equal to 57,000. Divide both sides by 12, and I get x will equal $4,750. Make sure we get our units as we're doing these. Alright, next thing. Clark doing a carpet cleaning business. $82 for every 2 houses. So again, dollars, in this case, over houses. We want to know how much money he will make, so I don't know how many dollars, for 78 houses. So what I'm going to set up again, cross multiply, I will get 2x equals, I'll multiply this, 82 times 78. Then when I divide by 2, I'll get my final answer of x equals $3,198. Alright, now we're going across the border. We're going down to Mexico. We have that she had 567 US dollars. We want to know how much she got in Mexican dollars. And this would be my Mexican dollars. I'll just call it MD. The exchange rate is 2.4 Mexican dollars for every US dollar. Well, this is a US dollar on top. So it says 1 US dollar is worth 2.4 Mexican dollars. So when I cross multiply, I get x times 1, which is just x, equals 567 times 2.4, which is $1,360.80. Well, I guess if you want to call it Mexican cents. But this is going to be, our unit is Mexican dollars, or dólares, I think is what it's, I don't know what the Mexican dollars is, but 1360.8 Mexican dólares. Alright, 14. Subway sandwich has 200 calories and 23 grams of fat. So calories, grams of fat. We want to know if it has 500 calories. So make sure my calories line up. So 500 on top, grams of fat, I don't know how much that is. So now I cross multiply and divide. I should get 200x equals, I'll have 500 times 23. 500 times 23. And when I divide 200, I end up getting that x equals 57.5. What's my unit? It'll be grams, because it's grams of fat. Alright, the next one. This one is where you're going to have to do three different answers here. So first, we're going to have that we have 1,000 voters, and we have 204 total, 204,000 I should say total. And here are three different splits. We have 500 for candidate A, we have 450 here for candidate B, and then the last one is that we have 50 votes for candidate C. So we need to look at each one of these individually. So let's start with candidate A. For candidate A, there were 500 votes out of a total of 1,000. And we need to know how many total there would be if we had 204,000 votes. So what we'll do is we'll cross multiply and divide. We do 1,000x will equal 500 times 2,400, or 204,000. Cross multiply and divide, you should get that this is 102,000 votes as my answer. And that's for candidate A in yellow. We'll do the exact same thing for green, for candidate B. Okay? We still have now, he got a total of 450 out of the 1,000 sample votes. We need to know how many he got out of the total, 204,000. 1,000x equals 450 times 204,000. When I do that division, I should get 91,800 votes when I simplify that. And then the last one for candidate C, he got only 50 votes out of the 1,000. That should equal, same thing, I don't know how many, but out of total 204,000. 1,000x equals 50 times 204,000. I should get an answer here of x equals 10,200 votes. Alright, and now for the last problem. Talking about Jack Wilson, he hit 17 doubles in his first 25 games. So let's line it up again. These are the number of doubles he had over how many games he played. So we want to know how many will he have in 162 games. Games is on the bottom, so that's 162. That puts the x up top. So 25x will equal 17 times 162. I'll divide both sides by 25, and I should get that x equals 94.97 doubles, two-baggers, doubles, however you want to write it. If you want to round that up to 95, or say he didn't quite get to 95, so it's only 94, that's fine. I would just say for now, leave it just as a decimal is all we need. Alright, the next, we need to determine if these next two pairs of shapes are similar to each other. And if they are, let's write a similarity statement, and we need to say why. Are these similar? Well, I would have 1 over 4. I would have 2 over 8. I would have again 1 over 4, and on the bottom 2 over 8. Each of those fractions reduces to 1/4. So yes, by their size, I can say that they're similar. I can say ABCD is similar to QRST. Alright, for number 18, I would have 2 over 4, small over small. Medium over medium is 5 over 10, and 6 over 11. However, these are not the same, especially the 6 over 11. They're not all three the same. Therefore, these are not similar shapes as a result. Alright, we'll look at number 19 now. And 19 through 22, we're going to say that these are already considered similar shapes. So as a result, we need to now figure out what X is. So if ABCD is similar to EFGH, that means their corresponding parts are similar. AB and EH, so that means I can set up a proportion of AB, which is X plus 2, over 5, which is EF. So AB, EF. Then I can also look at, well, I also know BC here. BC corresponds with FG. So that should be X over 3. And I can set them equal to each other. From there, I'm just going to cross multiply them and divide them. So I should have, I should get 5x will equal 3x plus 6. Subtract my 3x's, I get 2x equals 6, which means I should get x equals 3 for my answer for number 19. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing here. I know AB is similar to DE, so those should line up. I should have x plus 6 over 5x, and that should be equal to whatever my other side is that I know. I also know BC here is 3, and I know EF here is 9. So 3 over 9. Cross multiply these and divide. 9 times this entire thing, so I should have 9x plus 54, and it should equal 15x when I do my other cross multiply. Subtract 9x from both sides, I get 54 is equal to 6x, which means I should get 9 equals x as my answer for number 20. Considering the exact same thing over here, this will be the one that you will mess up most likely. We're given, we know that we have dt and Sn that should be the same. So or not the same, I should say, they should be proportional. So those left sides of the triangle should be proportional. So I'll do 2x plus 1 over 9. So I did big triangle over small triangle. I need to do the same for the other pieces that I know. I know OT and I know ON. Those are corresponding parts in that shape. So OT is the whole big long one, which is 12 minus 7x, and ON is the small one, which is 6. This will be a cross multiply divide multiple steps here. I will have 12x plus 6 when I do this cross multiply, and that will equal 108 minus 63x when I go the other way. Let's add 63x to both sides and subtract 6 from both sides. I'll have 102 on the right, and on the left I will have, should be 75x. So when I do that division, dividing both sides by 75, x equals 70, or it should be 102 over 75, which is, at a decimal, 1.36. Alright, my last one, as I'm running out of room here, we're going to say the same thing we've done before. I know xy, so it must be the same as mn, or proportional again to mn, so 4 over 8. And the other side that I know yz, and yz must be corresponding with no. So that means x minus 4 over x plus 4 for this. When I cross multiply these, I'll get 4x plus 16 equals 8x minus 32. I'll subtract 4x to give me 4x on the right. When I subtract 4x, I'll add 32, gives me 48. Divide both sides by 4, and I get x equals 12 for my answer for those. Alright, coming down the home stretch now. On the back here, we want to look at, first they're saying that those shapes are similar. We need to first find the similarity ratio. Well, what we said before is that we want to look, well, I know what KL is. KL corresponds with NO in the similarity statement. So I can make my similarity ratio from KLM to NOP is just 5 over 8. I can try to reduce it, but in this case, I can't reduce it at all. Now my area ratio. Area, remember, that would be something like meters squared. That means I need to take that 5 over 8 and square it. That means I square the top, 5 squared is 25, and I square the bottom, 8 squared is 64. That's my area ratio. My perimeter ratio would still be in meters. Perimeter ratio is the same as the similarity ratio. It stays as 5 over 8. Alright, for 19 and 20, first we're going to see, can we find what the similarity ratio again would be. This would be, in this case, we know what PQ is, and we know what UT are. Those are the two sides we're looking at. That similarity ratio is 10 over 25. I can try to reduce it if I can. It doesn't matter if I think I can't, but I really could have. If you left it as 10 over 25, that's fine. You should have tried to divide those top and bottom by 5 to get 2 over 5 as your ratio. Your perimeter ratio is the same as this similarity ratio. So I'm going to say 2 over 5 equals, okay, that was going from the small one to the big one. The perimeter of the small diamond here, it's really a pentagon, but it kind of looks like a diamond you would think on a ring. The perimeter there is 40. I don't know what the perimeter of the big pentagon here is, so that's my unknown. When I cross multiply, I'll get 2x is equal to 5 times 40. 5 times 40 is 200. So that means I should get x equals 100 meters as my answer. Make sure I take a look at my units here. Okay? Same thing here. For the area, except I don't want the same perimeter ratio and similarity ratio. I need 2 squared and 5 squared now as my numbers to be used. My area of the small is 65. My area of the large is I don't know what. So what I need to do here, cross multiply and divide again. So I'll get 4x equals 65 times 25. Whatever 65 times 25 is, I divide both sides by 4, and I should get an answer of 406.25 meters squared as my new area. Well, there you have it. That's how we set up all of these problems. Remember your test on Monday, and we should be in good shape. Thank you much.